What is up, everybody? Sean Sheehan back here with another edition of the Q&A on SevereMMA.com. Now, usually this is up on our Patreon at patreon.com/SevereMMA podcast. Every Tuesday morning it comes out, usually on audio, sometimes on video as well. And I answer all your questions. So if you have a question between now and next week's, and then at SevereMMA pod over on Patreon as well, or questions at SevereMMA.com. Basically what I do is answer all your questions. That's it. So let's do it here. Let's get straight into the questions. We look at the ones over on Patreon first and go through them. So the first one here from Cian Keating. Would you agree with me in saying that it's fair enough BT made this fight pay-per-view? People say it's a weak card, but I'm sure many of those same people might buy Wilder versus Fury in February and will know very little on the undercard. Right, so before I answer that, let's just have a quick look at the card. Sorry, wrong one there. And this is it. Obviously, we know Conor McGregor versus Donald Cerrone in the main event. Holly Holm versus Raquel Pennington. Alexei Oleinik, Maurice Green. Claudia Gadelha, Alexa Grasso, Anthony Pettis, Diego Ferreira, that's your main card there. Not the strongest in the world. Look at the undercard. Macy Barber, as we know, very good fighter against Roxanne Modafferi. Andrea Touchy-Feely against Sadiq Youssef, for me the sleeper fight on the card. Nasrat Hakparast, very, very good person coming through, as is Grant Dawson. You know, Tim Elliott, we know him from a long time fighting Askar Askarov as well, and there's some other people on that there as well. But yeah, look, it's not the strongest card in the world. I don't really like the card that much. I think it's okay, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. No, I'm a big fan of Nasrat Hakparast. I like Grant Dawson, a few other people, Sadiq Youssef, Andre Feely as well on the card. But it's not one that fills you with excitement, is it? You're thinking of the main event. And for hardcore fans, I think that's a thought. But for like casual fans, just McGregor fans, and there's a lot of them in Ireland and the UK as well, they're gonna buy it. You know, they're gonna buy it. This card has been sold for Conor McGregor, let's be honest, and Donald Cerrone is his opponent as well. BT Sports, when they brought in pay-per-view, no matter who Conor McGregor's fighting, you know he's the one that's going to be on pay-per-view. He's going to be their main pay-per-view buy. He is going to be the guy who brings in all the pay-per-views. Like, I don't think that John Jones card, the first one, did particularly well. I haven't heard anything about Habib and Poirier, so I don't know about that. But this McGregor card is always going to be on pay-per-view, and that's just the reality of it, I think. But like, when you think about it as well with Conor McGregor, like, I'm sure a part of it was, how do you get McGregor back to fight? I'm sure a little bit of extra money from BT. I wonder, was a deal done there with Audi and Conor McGregor's team to get him a better deal with BT? Maybe that's a part of it. Maybe that's a part of why he's back fighting. But yeah, look, I talked to Philip O'Connor about it on the podcast this week. And, you know, I used to think the same way as him, and I still do, but I kind of had to get out of thinking in that pay-per-view. Pay-per-views in the middle of the night in Ireland and the UK just shouldn't happen. It should be free on TV. And he was kind of saying that as well. He was like, you know, we need to kind of get out of that mindset and stop thinking that way in terms of that. You know, it's okay now because we're kind of just used to it. It's something we shouldn't be used to. But I suppose that's another argument again on that. Right, let's look at the next question here. William Dugdale. If Conor drops Cowboy, is he following him to the ground to finish, or does it depend on how many times he's dropped him? Also, Jack Grealish is far too good for Man United. Yeah, the last point is probably right. Watching back the Nate Diaz fight this week, the Conor McGregor one, the second one, he knocked him down a few times. He followed him down once, I think. But he said come back up a few times as well. The Eddie Alvarez fight knocked him down a couple of times, let him back up a couple of times as well, or Eddie got back up himself a couple of times as well, actually. But there was one time he did go down on top of Eddie Alvarez and hit him from the top. Diego Brandao, he went down on top of him and hit him from the top. And Nate Diaz as well in the first fight, I believe, he went on top of him and landed a few shots on top as well. So McGregor's not afraid of the ground game. No. There's a thing about if he's afraid. I don't think he's afraid. I think if he ended up in Cerrone's guard, he'd be happy to fight there. He wouldn't panic or anything. But does he want to choose to go there? If he knocks him down, does he want to jump down on top of him? No. If Cerrone's hurt, I'm sure he will. But if Cerrone's just knocked down and you think he's surviving, maybe you're better off throwing a few shots, getting back up, letting Cerrone up, and then hitting him with a few more again. Look, it depends on the situation of the fight, but I think Cerrone would have to be really hurt for McGregor to actually to jump down on top of him and go into his guard like that. Right, next one here. Christopher Graham has a few for us. Who is the UFC's Hulk Hogan megastar in the early days, jumps to rival promotion, kept fighting way too long, unpopular with long-term and hardcore fans. I suppose that's Tito Ortiz, is it, that you're getting that there? Right, let's look at Alexa. Who is the best MMA manager / management in terms of doing their jobs for their fighter, and which manager is your favourite in terms of personality, entertainment value for the sport? Like, to be honest, I couldn't probably name 5 managers. Like, I don't really have. I met a couple of them. You know, I've spoken to a couple of them. I dealt with a couple of them for getting interviews and stuff. But like, I don't really do that many interviews, to be honest. As everyone here knows, there's a Bellator Media Day. Bellator get on to us here at Media Day, come on, and I turn up and I do the interviews. That's it. Otherwise, it's obviously a lot of Irish fighters, and I just throw them a DM or a text or whatever, see I come on the show. So I don't really deal with managers, to be honest. I've had a few managers reach out to me. Do you want to get this guy on the podcast? Do you want to talk to this guy or whatever? So I don't really know. And like, I wouldn't say I particularly am entertained or like any of them out in the open, to be honest. Apart from Tito, maybe. Tito when he was managing. So yeah, I don't know. It's like, I'm very much a fighter-based sort of person when I'm doing my analysis and talking about the sport as well. Lots of people know the coaches and the management and the gyms and everything. I know, like around Ireland, I know the coaches and the gyms and things like that, but not really on the worldwide spectrum like that. Which is worse, Tyron Woodley's rapping or Brendan Schaub's stand-up or CM Punk's fighting? I actually haven't heard much of Woodley's rapping. I'll go the worst. I've listened to a bit of Brendan Schaub's rapping. That's pretty bad. CM Punk's fighting is probably the worst. Schaub, and then Woodley's not that bad. He's alright. He's just terrible. Christopher Graham, would you rather see Jones versus Rumble, Jones versus Lesnar for Jones's first foray into heavyweight? Okay, that's a good question. Like, I have a feeling Brock Lesnar is going to come back this year. I don't know why. I just have a feeling he's going to come back. Brock never likes to be in the same thing for too long, and he will make a movement to go somewhere and do something at some stage. Now, whether that's the UFC, I don't know. But if he did come back, it'd be for something big. He talked about fighting John Jones before, so it could really be that. Jones versus Rumble, I like that fight as well. Although Rumble hasn't been around in a long time. And it feels like, Jones has spent most of his light heavyweight career recently fighting middleweights. It'd be funny if he went to heavyweight and fought a light heavyweight or a welterweight or a middleweight before as well. But I'd watch either of those fights, to be honest. But the fight I really want is Francis Ngannou. But we probably won't see that. How do you see McGregor dealing with Cowboy's kicks? Is Cowboy the best kicker he has fought? Is Cowboy the best kicker McGregor has fought? Let's not look at me. Let's go over to the records here and have a look. Let's go to Conor McGregor here and have a quick look. So the best kicker Conor McGregor has fought. We're on thanks to Topology here for this. Let's look. So Floyd Mayweather, definitely not Floyd Mayweather anyway. Habib, not a great kicker. Eddie Alvarez, not a great kicker. Nate, no. Aldo, I suppose, but Aldo got 13 seconds, so he didn't kick much with him. Chad, no. Poirier, Brandao, Seaver. Brandao actually kicks okay, but yeah, you probably would say that, wouldn't you? You probably have to say that it is Cowboy. Now, will Cowboys, what will happen? Like, as we kind of look at it here again, I don't know if I pull it up right or not. Let's have a look at it. But yeah, like, Brandao, Poirier, Seaver there, as I said. But Cowboys kicks, like, they're very good, but he'll have to produce them at the right time, if you know what I mean. Like, he'll have to produce it if they're directly standing in the pocket and McGregor is open for him. So I don't know if it's going to happen that way or not. But yeah, look, Cowboys kicks will be dangerous, but I'm sure McGregor will be prepared for him. Right, let's have a look at the next question here and try not to fake up the video this time. Is there any chance that at 155 and 170 McGregor's boxing is slightly overrated? From Ben Walding here. The Habib third round was prominently on the feet. He's obviously been fatigued in the first 2 rounds, but I was surprised how little he seemed to ever seriously put a limited striker like Habib in danger. I don't particularly think at 155 pounds McGregor is overrated as a striker, although we haven't seen him that much. Like, the Habib fight, I think it's a weird fight in terms of it's a very tough fight to produce anything in after that first 2 minutes and after the second round as well. And the Eddie Alvarez fight came directly after his 170 pounds second fight with Nate Diaz. So, like, if McGregor has a full prepared camp for 155 pounds and maybe 2 or 3 in a row, maybe we get a better idea of what McGregor was actually like there. So, I'm not sure the 155 pounds. But 170 pounds, I do agree. I think McGregor isn't as a dynamic striker as he was at 145 pounds in terms of his striking. I still think his boxing is very good. In that second Nate fight, he was landing a lot. In the first Nate fight, he was landing a lot as well. Knocked him down a few times in both fights, if I'm not mistaken. But no, I think McGregor's a very, very good boxer. But I definitely think downweight he's better. He's 155 pounder, but we haven't seen enough of it yet because he hasn't really fought there yet. So, but apart from the the 2 times he hasn't fought there, over years and years like he has at 145 pounds. Right, let's look at the next one here. From Ian O'Neill. What do you make of Phil Sutcliffe's addition to McGregor's camp? Yeah, obviously Phil Sutcliffe is the boxing coach. I'm sure they'll be happy to have him over there. And when I say they, I mean Conor McGregor in the camp. Everything you hear about him is that he's fantastic. He's really good at what he does, and it can't hurt. I think it's good to change things up as well. We've talked a lot this week and on the podcast and in different places, spoken to different people, about John Kavanagh and those comments he made and things, and that people were asking, does McGregor need to move camp and things, and I think the ship has probably sailed on that now at this stage. But I think it's good to bring people in, like whether it's old people or new people in or whatever. I think it's good to change things up just to, so you're not listening to the same voices all the time. We always talk about that in every sport. So yeah, I'm sure he's good, and everything I hear about him is that he's very good at what he does as well. Last question here, David Fleming. Who would win an MMA fight? You or Graham? Is that a serious question? Like, look at this. Look at it now. Probably almost 100% Graham would win in that fight. But yeah. Right, let's move over here to Twitter and have a look at some of the questions as well. Actually, before we do that, hold on here for a second. I actually have a couple from Instagram, and can you get Instagram up on the laptop? I don't know, but I'm going to look at them here on my phone and I'm going to read them out, and we'll talk about them straight away anyway. Right, so Riggins 32, sleeper fight of the night, outside of Yusuf versus Feely. Okay, let's pop over again and have a quick look at the card here. If we go back from Conor McGregor, yeah, I think, like, to be honest, there's maybe not a few sleeper fights, but I would say the Yusuf fight is Yusuf Feely. Like, Haqparast versus Dober. Dober's a veteran as well, and Haqparast he's 11-2, and maybe now is the time for him to kind of move on and become that very good fighter that I think he can as well. Other than that, is there really a sleeper fight in the card? Gadelia Grasso, I think that'll be a good battle as well. But yeah, no, I would say that the Yusuf one. Right, sorry, pop back to me here for a second now, and I'll read the next one from Instagram. What do you make of the snippet of Conor's talk with Ariel? Looks more relaxed and in a good place. Yeah, I thought it looked good in that. Obviously, by the time this comes out, the whole interview will be out. I think this will be out on Tuesday morning. I'm just recording this on Sunday night. So, yeah, I think he looked good. I think he looked good and relaxed in that. And, he knows Ariel as well. And sitting down in a long-form interview is probably better than, 10 minutes in the gym after training or whatever. So, yeah, I thought it was good. What do you think Conor cuts to the body could be a target? And he'll be aimed for a Stipe style against Daniel Cormier. From Patrick. Yeah, I think you will. Like, McGregor's a great one for kind of known guys very, very well, if you know what I mean. Like, maybe not, maybe not everything about him, but everything about him in fighting. Any time I've heard McGregor talking about, like, tactics or technique or anything like that, he's always very well versed. Like, McGregor's probably, or he was before anyway, I'm not sure about recently, but he was always someone who knows everything that's going on, watches every bit of content, listens to everything, reads everything, and always knows. Now, maybe he has changed, like a lot of people. I used to be like that as well, and I kind of changed because sometimes you just can't, but he used to always be like that, and he knows very well that Donald Cerrone has issues to the body. He knows all of his problems, and he's watched all of his old fights as well, and he very much knows that. So I say he probably will. Declan Kinna, will you be back Cage Legacy 13? maybe. I was up going to the Cage Legacy cards, and I'd encourage anyone to go to one of those Cage Legacy cards. It's absolutely fantastic. And sit cage side as well. You get the lads a little bit more money, but it'll also get you a great seat to talk. I talked to Ben Cartledge about the judging aspect of the sport, and it's always great, I think, to sit right alongside the cage and look at it like that, and put yourself in the judge's chair in a way. And I couldn't say that there's a better one to go to around Ireland anyway, because there really isn't any others apart from Bellator. Riggins 32, sounds like Izzy Yoel is near being finalised. What's your early take on that matchup and the prediction? I think of it straight away, and I just think Izzy's going to win. But on further inspection, it's a tough matchup, isn't it? Izzy's wrestling has improved an awful lot over the last few years, but Yoel Romero's a different beast as well, and he's a different beast in terms of he can land a big strike and knock you out in at any stage of the fight. So yeah, it's a tough fight. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Would you like to have one of the best minds in the world, Brendan Schaub, on Patreon? Sure, I'd love to talk to Brendan. I think Brendan's alright. No, he's a bit odd, like, and he's not the he's not the sharpest tool about it. I think he probably admit that himself. But he's done really well for himself, and we all make mistakes. I'm sure there's about 5 mistakes. Like, the one thing, Brendan Schaub did something there recently, and he said some comment or something about scoring or something, and he just like misspoke, and people like was like fucking 10,000 retweets. I was like, God, if I was in that position, there'd be so many of them, because I misspeak so often. Oh, it's hard. It's hard sitting here doing this and not misspeaking. Like, even you're reading something and I read 33 instead of 32 or something, it looks horrendous. But can Conor win back his Irish fans from Al Corbett? We'll see. I spoke to Philip O'Connor about that on this podcast during the week or during the weekend, and it's going to take time. It's going to take wins. It's going to take personal maturing. It's going to take all of that, and look, we will see. We will see how it goes. Right, let's get back over to Twitter here and look at some of the questions. Jackie K, can we get a result prediction round, etc.? Yeah, I think it'll be round 1 for McGregor, to be honest. I just think McGregor's his ability is too much. I think his game planning is too much. I think his left hand is too much. I think his precision is too much. Now, Cowboy could come out, McGregor could overthrow a shot, Cowboy could get a body lock and take him down. I wouldn't actually be one bit surprised if that happened, and it could go into the second round. He could do it again in the second round, could go into the third round, and then maybe the speed and the power has gone out of McGregor, and Cowboy might end up winning, or Cowboy might do it once, McGregor might get up and knock him out. Then it's like, I feel like it'll be McGregor coming out across the octagon, hitting him and knocking him out, but that's just my prediction. That doesn't mean that's what I think will happen, or that doesn't mean it is what will happen, if you know what I mean. Like, I this is the Y1 prediction, but I could have 50 predictions with different things that could happen in different ways that we talked about in the podcast and everything like that. If he gets the early takedown, if he lands a big head kick, or if McGregor does something different like Gaethje did, where instead of attacking him, Gaethje pulled back, lets Cowboy come on to him, and then countered him from the back foot instead of countering from an attacking position. So there's lots of ways it can go. I just think McGregor will walk him down and land big shots. Will Conor weigh in at 160 like he's suggesting, from Jamie? I don't think he particularly suggested that. I think he more said that he's in Ariel in that clip that came out. Maybe we'll hear more of it when this full interview comes out. But I think he was kind of saying, I'm 160 and change, so that could be like 169 or something. It could be just after training, you wouldn't know what, and it could be like 179 as well. You wouldn't know really. Fighters telling us about their weight on fight week is probably the least trustworthy people you could ever meet. So I don't know, to be honest. I haven't heard anything, and I don't know. Right, next one here. In your lads' opinions, who is the best first round fighter in the world? I.e. fighters who start incredibly strong but gas or wither away a bit as the fight goes on, like McGregor or a Rumble. You'd have to say, like, 3 to come to mind straight away: McGregor, Rumble, Vitor Belfort. You'd have to say McGregor, because he's had so much success doing it. But it feels like that's an insult when I'm saying that, but it's not really. I think there's lots of different people, lots of different ways to fight. So yeah, I'd probably say McGregor. Do you think Conor has a chance against Usman? Of course he has a chance, but I don't think it's a particularly good fight. I think Usman would be an absolutely huge favourite in that fight, and rightly so. I think he's just too big, too strong, too good at wrestling, and I don't think it'd be that easy for McGregor to knock him out. So no, I would definitely favour Usman to win that fight. Right, next one here. With Dominic Cruz announcing he's finally ready to fight again. Oh, did he? I didn't hear that. That's very good. What's his next move, do you think? Right, let's look at the rankings here. And obviously in the bantamweight division, we have Moraes, Sterling, Henry Cejudo is the champion, obviously. Moraes, Sterling, Peter Yan, Corey Sandhagen, Rafael Assunção, Munoz, Rivera. There's lots of names there. Jose Aldo. How about that? How about the Cody Garbrandt rematch? Maybe that's a little too early, too soon for both of them. Maybe, how about your boy Uriah Faber? How about a bit of Uriah? Would that be good? Let's see a bit of Uriah Faber, Dominic Cruz. I know we've seen it a few times before, but maybe we'd maybe we could see it again. But yeah, look, I'm really looking forward to seeing Dominic Cruz back. I've been a huge fan, as everyone here knows, of Dominic Cruz for years and years and years. I think he's a fantastic fighter, a brilliant analyst, brilliant on commentary as well. So you're looking forward to seeing Dominic Cruz back. Right, next one here. Do you think Conor's career has looked? I can't read. How would Conor's career have looked if he started the UFC at lightweight like he wanted to? Wow, that's an interesting question, isn't it? Whoa, yeah. I don't know. It's like the way Conor McGregor's career went up until a certain point, up until maybe even the Habib fight, because the Nate loss, worked out for him well in the end. But up until the Habib fight, it went perfectly for him. So it couldn't have gone any better, I don't think, if he'd started out at lightweight. But I think we might have seen a better McGregor if he had, and an even more enthused about McGregor, and even more respected McGregor if he had gone to 155 pounds after the Nate Diaz fight and fought 5 times between Eddie Alvarez and now. Because I think he would be a fantastic fighter. Now, he might have still lost to Habib and everything, and he might have gotten the rematch and everything by then, but this Mayweather fight and the whole Habib incident and everything like that just completely derailed him, and everything else that's gone on in his life and all the money and everything, I'm sure, as well, just completely derailed him to be that brilliant out of this world fighter that we all maybe not expected him to be, but thought he could become. Now, he was that, and he was brilliant as well, but he could have become, if he's here, he could have become here, if he wasn't that lightweight. He's only 2 fights in the UFC at his proper weight, and the one this weekend isn't at it either. So yeah, it's a pity a little bit, isn't it? Is this the most muted build-up to a Conor fight we have ever seen? It was up until a point, and I think it has changed over the last couple of days, to be honest. I think there's a lot of stuff come out, that clip from Ariel that came out with him. I'm sure Embeddeds will be coming out now here. By the time this is out, there'll probably be 1 or 2 already out. And it's going to be picking up. But it was very muted up until last week. I talked to Ariel and a few other lads as well, which will be out in the coming days, and yesterday and today as well on Patreon. And everyone kind of said, yeah, there's been a muted build-up, but it'll pick up. So yeah, I think that's what will happen over the next while. Right. Do you expect McGregor's gas tank to fare as the fight goes on? Think he's made any improvements, or he's just expecting to get it done in 2? I think McGregor's gas tank, like lots of things in McGregor's career, is actually kind of an unknown at times as well. Because, what fights did McGregor actually gas in? Like, if you look at these last few fights, the first Nate Diaz fight, yeah, he gassed, but he went up to from 145 in the fight before to 170 on, 7 days notice or something that was supposed to be at 155. So, I'm not making excuses for him, but come on, if you're a McGregor hater, you're going to say, oh, he's a joke, he should have won that fight, Nate Diaz was short notice and all. He should have, yeah, but he still gassed because of that, I think, on short notice. In the fight against Nate Diaz, I went back and watched that fight. McGregor was still fighting well in that 5th round. There was a late takedown, and Nate probably just managed to win the round, but McGregor won the 4th round, and he was doing well in the 5th round, relatively. So, anyone's going to be fucking tired against Nate Diaz in the 5th round, and to keep going with him into the 5th round wouldn't just gas tank problems, I don't think. The Floyd Mayweather fight, I don't know. You're not used to boxing. I'm making excuses for him again, but it's totally different. I think you can discount that one altogether. And the Habib one, I don't know that he necessarily gas rather than Habib just took it out of him. I'd give all the credit to Habib for that. So I don't know. I don't think he's like Diego Sanchez or Nate Diaz or Daniel Cormier or Cain Velasquez in terms of this cardio machine. But I don't think he's terrible either, and he just gas immediately. I think if things go well for him, or it's an even fight, I think he'll be grand. He gets, he got hurt in a couple of fights as well, and things, and he got taken down against Habib. Look at the Max Holloway fight where things went well for him, and he went 3 rounds strong on one leg for half a round or whatever it was as well. So, yeah, I think it's a little bit blown out of proportion, but I'm not saying it's not true either. It might be true. I don't think there's enough data to say he's 100% terrible cardio, because the Nate Diaz fight is the one fight everyone points to, and that fight there is a built-in 100% reason why. So, I don't know. I'm not, as you can probably tell by looking at me, I'm not the best. I'm not the best voice on cardio in the world. Right. At his best, how would Conor do in the 170 division? I just think he's not big enough, to be honest. I just like I don't understand why he's fighting at 170. He says he's fighting at 170 because he wants to get a quick turnaround and fight at 55 again, and doesn't want the weight cut twice. But I don't think he's cutting that much weight. Like, I don't know. I don't think he'll particularly do well at 170 against the top guys. I might do well against Cerrone and even Masvidal. Like, McGregor at his best against Masvidal, I think he beats him, to be honest. But like, is McGregor at his best? Is he going to get back to his best? We've had a chat about that before, and we'll have it again after the podcast. But yeah, look, Usman, Covington, very tough matchups for McGregor, I think, at 170. Are we ever going to get reliable pay-per-view stats again? No, because it's on ESPN Plus simply. And KD, OC MMA. I heard Masvidal's camp say Conor needs to win January 18 to get the George fight, or Jorge fight, which I agree with 100%. But mad to think the narrative is now that Conor needs to earn the red panty night from somebody else. Thoughts on his standing in a money fight picture? Let's be honest here, lads. Come on. There's a lot of talk here and people say a lot of things. But win or lose on Saturday night, if Masvidal is offered that McGregor fight, he would take it in an absolute heartbeat. He knows it's the biggest money fight, you know, whether it's a title fight or whatever. And I'm sure he might take the title fight before it. He mightn't, you know, he might say, I want to win the title, and that's that. But McGregor is always going to be the red panty night for the near future anyway, you know, and maybe he'll lose 5 fights in a row and he won't be, but yeah, I just don't believe that at all. But like, and he's right to say it, but I don't believe it. Corey, do you think if McGregor wins next weekend and if the Khabib versus Tony fight goes ahead and Gaethje doesn't accept the Poirier fight, that the Poirier fight could be next for Conor? I just like to see that Masvidal fight for him. I don't think McGregor will fight Poirier anytime soon. Like, he did knock him out in a round, and yeah, look, I can't see that fight happening, to be honest. Like, McGregor's not that sort of guy who'll give a guy a rematch like that, I think. So yeah, no, I don't. I think he'll fight Masvidal next, to be honest. Maybe Gaethje, and then if he wins that, into a title fight, or you know, maybe Nate again if he loses or whatever. Next one. Any inclination what shape Conor's going to turn up in, or are we still guessing? Look, we're all guessing. Everybody's guessing here. Let's be honest with it, unless you're a person in his camp and really, really close to it. Look, everything I've heard is that he's in good shape. Everything on around the camp is saying he's in good shape. He's looking good, but is that lies or is it the truth? Who knows? And we won't know until Saturday night, I suppose. Right, let's run through a few of these here. Again, as we finish it up, Shane McDonald, big fan of the show. What are your thoughts on if Conor McGregor loses at UFC 246? What's next for him? I think probably Nate Diaz. Spoke to Ariel during the week, and that was kind of what he said as well, I believe, on that. So, you know, that Nate 3 fight's always there. He just lost to Masvidal. So yeah, I think the Nate fight again. If UFC 246 the first Conor McGregor pay-per-view to do under 1 million buys? The lack of buzz combined with ESPN paywall behind seems to indicate it. How many pay-per-view buys do you think it does? Obviously, we'll never find out, but I think it does over 1 million, but not much. I think I'd be very surprised if it did 2 million. But I'll go 1.5 or something like that. Maybe not that much actually. Maybe 1.2, and that'd be huge as well. We'd know then if McGregor does over 1 million on this, the UFC are going to do all they can to keep him, because you know this is not a title fight, not a stacked card. There will be build up as we go up to it, but there hasn't been a huge, unbelievable build up, and there hasn't been a huge rivalry as well, and no title on the line. So if he can draw right here, right now. Like, we already know McGregor's the biggest star in the history of the sport, but this will be out of this world altogether. With the UFC Reebok deal up next year, should the UFC renew it or seek deals with Nike or Adidas? Yeah, probably seek deals with Nike or Adidas. I think that'd be better for them. Next one from Owen Hayes, close personal friend of mine. Biscuit or cake? I'm a biscuit man, to be honest. I'm never a big fan of cake. I'm probably the fattest man in the world that doesn't like cake. But yeah, I've never been a big cake fan. I don't really like birthday cakes or anything like that. I like a bit of a biscuit. Someone give me a 1 kg USA biscuits the other day, so I liked him. So yeah, there you go. Kieran O'Flynn, thoughts on John Kavanagh saying McGregor knows more about fighting than the entire team combined? Yeah, that was very odd, wasn't it? I think the part about, you know, where John Kavanagh said McGregor runs his own camp and, you know, we're just kind of there to facilitate him. That wasn't the most shocking thing in the world, I don't think. But the fact he said McGregor knows more than him is very, very shocking. I know McGregor is the champion of the world, and you know John Kavanagh never came anywhere near that in his career, and you know, and he's a very good well, he's lots of very good fighters that have been in in Bellator, and obviously McGregor near the top of the UFC, and Aisling Daly back in the day as well. I think she was ranked, and I think Paddy Hoolan was ranked as well at one stage. So you'd think someone in that position who's coached the world champion would know a lot, and would think, I know I'm the one teaching him stuff here. So it's funny to hear the person who's supposed to be teaching the other person stuff and being his coach and I suppose his guide, saying he knows less than him. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's just being honest. Like maybe like we all know McGregor is this unbelievable mind and a brilliant tactician and everything like that. And I'm sure John Kavanagh knows that as well. But yeah, it was very odd here now, wasn't it? Lord Gavin Springer, 2 weeks until the biggest MMA name is. Oh, this is an old one, but we'll answer this anyway, and then we'll finish it up. 2 weeks until, and less than that now, until the biggest name in MMA is back, and there feels like zero buzz, excitement or hype for his return. And the fight, is McGregor's star power starting to wane? That's a good question, I think, to end it on, because let's see. We'll see a lot of things. There's a lot of things going to be answered in this fight here on Saturday night. Is McGregor the same star as he was before, as Gavin Springer asked there? Is he the star he was? Do people like him as much in Ireland, in America and all over the world? Will they buy the pay-per-view? Will he still be this huge pay-per-view draw? That's a big question. Is he still a great fighter? Does he still have the want to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go out and run those miles and go into the gym and do those 3 sessions and get into that hard sparring and do that and prepare the way he needs to, and do his his McGregor fast and get into the red zone and everything and do that the way he needs to do? Is he still that guy? There's so many unanswered questions. I don't think I can ever remember a fight in mixed martial arts with so many unanswered questions, and there'll be more unanswered questions afterwards, because can he keep it up? Can he keep doing it? Can he keep on this right track? Will he get the fight he needs next, and will he win that fight as well? And it'll keep going on and on and on, like it always does. But this is a big fight for Conor McGregor, and it'll either re-establish him or we'll have to rethink everything. So there's a lot on the line here for McGregor, I think. There's a lot on the line for Cowboy Cerrone as well, because if he wins, that's a huge win for him. But this is a very, very meaningful fight for fans and for everyone in Irish MMA, and for Conor McGregor himself. And I'm excited, to be honest. I hope you are all too. If you enjoyed this, please sign up, patreon.com/SevereMMA podcast. If you already are, thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. Follow me at Sean Sheehan BA. As you can see down here, my beautiful graphics. Follow at SevereMMA pod. Where is it? That side up there. Podcast out every Sunday. And as I said, the patreon.com/SevereMMA podcast. Thank you for everyone for listening. Really appreciate it. Hit me up on Twitter. We'll have a bit of a chat before the fight starts. There's loads of more stuff coming up this week on Patreon and on YouTube and everywhere. Enjoy the fights on Saturday night. I'll see you all next time. Good luck.